Hey guys, good morning. It's Tony. I wanted to talk a little bit about GameStop and kind of build on that video that I released yesterday. That I think that GameStop might be back on the table. First of all, I want to give a quick shout out to myself for being my own sponsor. If you like what you see, like my content, feel free to join the Patreon. I'll drop the link in the comment section, and also and pin it in the comments, and also put it in the description. Um, for the very simple reason, on GameStop, that I think there's a really good chance that we maybe push sort of nicely to the upside. And really, it's because we didn't break that 150-ish level, right? We actually came back and retested that, and we actually haven't broken it, right? So it's a pretty clear indication that GameStop did not want to break this area, right? We essentially perfectly wicked. Look at that! Look at that wick right there. That's beautiful, right? Let's see if we can find it. Look at that! Look at that! I don't think I've ever seen a more perfect, a more perfect retest. I was off, 149.52. The actual low for these guys was 149.70 and 149.70. So I was off by 20 cents on that support, which is ridiculous. So super awesome, right? Um, but really though, what I can see happening here is last time we actually had a 4 hour trigger on when we were bouncing off support, we ran $118 in around 13 days and 20 hours. So, this might be able to happen again. I'm not saying it will, but it's a possibility of it happening again, right? So first of all, 13 days, 20 hours, $118. I mean, that's getting awfully close. When 1840, that's awfully close to that 283 level, right? That 118 move from from back here on March 15, to these peak highs on March 22nd. That's getting like that's looking like an awfully big move. And it's pretty relevant to what's happening now. We actually didn't break support. We're standing at 150, and a move like to and a push of 118 bucks would take us very close to that 283 resistance. If we look at other perfect entries like this, especially this low, right? We were on this low. Until we can find other positions around this area. Yeah, I just want to see what actually happens when we actually rally around here. So this one to highs, we only ran 10 bucks. From here, we rallied around $15. Perfect entries here as well. Perfect entry looks like we actually dropped. Here, again, we rallied $50 in 10 days. And the very first time we pushed, we rallied. See, and I think this might be an instance of GameStop being able to push a second time. And again, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I'm saying the probability is there, right? This time we pushed in 8 days about 80 bucks. So the probability is there, especially when you have big pumps like this. And this is starting to look, right? Like this is starting to look very similar to what happened here, which is that very first initial pump that happened in October, to November. And again, you came back down, didn't break support, and then you ran all the way back up to trend, which is basically where we are at now, right? We're actually on trend, but I think it'll break it and can possibly go all the way to 283. But again, we're looking at instances of GameStop actually having a push or sort of a not a short. I don't even want to say a short squeeze, because that wasn't really a short squeeze. More of just a push to the upside, and looking for a second push. Right, again here, perfect entry. You went from 150 to highs of like 225. You came back down. You went from 180 to highs of 216 again. And then we're looking for a second instances of pushes, right? Here, initial squeeze, jump, came back down, jump, came back down, jump. Here, squeeze, came back down sideways, then it ran up and it came back. And I think we might be on this area. I think we might be on this second push right here. I think what we saw recently on GameStop was what happened here, and I think we might be in the second area push right here. And part of me is kind of thinking, man, maybe I should buy some calls for like 2 weeks out, right? Like I just want to see what happens, right? Like I want to see if it actually pushes, especially with the whole split news, right? The whole dividend release, the whole stock split. So I don't know. I think this is kind of a possibility. I think that GameStop has a possibility to hit $272 in the next 14 days or so, but that's only after we actually close a 4-hour trigger on the bull side, and that's probably going to happen sometime today or tomorrow, right? I mean, prices, pre-market prices higher than where it closed. I mean, where did we actually close yesterday? You closed at 156.03. You're at 156.32, right? So you're already at higher than pre-market close. And I think that GameStop, like I said, I'm not saying this is gonna happen, but I'm saying that there's a possibility that it can. Once after this 4-hour trigger gets created, there's a very big possibility that GameStop can continue running and possibly push to 272. Am I gonna buy calls? I don't want to get burned again, man. I lost like $2,500 this past like week or two, like this last time, right? I went from being up $8,000 to being down to not being down, but being down $2,500. Like that shit sucks, dude. Right? And I don't know if I want to get burned again. But part of me is thinking, I'm like, fuck, maybe I should buy calls for 2-3 weeks out and then kind of see what happens to try to make my money back, right? I don't know. I think that it can happen, especially with all this momentum. GameStop didn't drop that much. It went from 188, right, or like $200 to 150, which is, in the scheme of things, it's not that hard of a drop when you think about it, right? Like it's not that hard of a drop. Every single drop that we've had, like this one, you went from 241 down to $200. You dropped $40, right, before seeing another push to the upside. $40. This one, you went from $20, 200, down to 156, so like $50. You did like a $50 drop. So kind of the same thing. You didn't drop as much as you didn't tank 100 like 50% and you dropped down to $100. You're at least maintaining that 150 support. So I don't know, man. It's kind of funky. I think that within the next 2 weeks, I think GameStop can see, somewhere around $272. It's weird. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.